Hey sis, welcome back to this series, Before You Take His Name, Dating with Discernment, particularly for Christian women who are dating and they are 40 and above. I keep saying, if you're younger than 40, you are welcome here because we want to make sure that you miss out on some of the the pitfalls that can happen. But I know that there are particular concerns for women over 40. And so I want to be a safe space right here with all of us to help you navigate that. Let me introduce myself. My name is Robin May, and I am committed to helping you elevate not just what you do, but who you are. We're jumping off this series consistently using my book, Before You Take His Name. This is a Christian perspective to saying I do. You can grab your copy by going to robinmayonline.com/books. I wrote this book 17 years ago and recently re-released it with updated examples and elevated conversations to help us really navigate. One of the things I haven't mentioned in the series is that one of my favorite parts of the book is that I give 14 questions, but in the back I give probably another, I don't know, looks like another 40 questions that you can ask, because our goal is to mitigate the risk as much as possible. There's no such thing as there being no risk when you are preparing to build your life with someone. We just want to mitigate the risk. When you buy a house, what do? You get an inspection on it. Now, you might move in and there's still something going on with it, but we want to mitigate the risk as much as possible. And so when you're becoming one with someone, y'all like how whenever I do it like this, say to become one. Whenever we're becoming one with someone, we want to ask all the questions. We want to try to cross the T's and dot the I's. I will tell you that I believe that when there is someone, when God has ordained a relationship, I do believe he may not show you all the things at the beginning. So again, he may not show you all the things in the beginning, because honey, some of y'all would have, I ain't doing it. No. But I think you let God withhold what he wants to withhold. You ask all the questions you need to ask. And so we are on question number 3. We're going to go through these 14 questions over the next 14 weeks or so, give or take. Then we'll go into other aspects of this conversation. But right now we are using Before You Take His Name, and we are on question 3. If you want to check out the previous questions that we've unpacked, just go right here on this playlist to check it out. If you haven't subscribed, will you go ahead and do that so that we can be on this journey together? And yes, sis, I got my notes in front of me so that I can make sure that I am pointing out all the things I want to point out. So let me first read to you question number 3. Here's question number 3. Are the people that matter most to you in support of your relationship? Again, are the people that matter most to you in support of this relationship? Now remember, I'm talking to 3 different types of women. 1, a woman who is in a long-term relationship, not married, but just long-term. Number 2, someone who's casually dating. That doesn't mean you're being intimate, but you're just casually dating people. And then thirdly, the woman who's not dating anybody right now. But I want you to consider this question. If you're seriously dating, are the people in your life in support of this relationship? If you're casually dating, what do the people in your life think about this relationship or these relationships? You bought Chris to the cookout last week, and then this week you bought Johnny. Somebody saying did. Somebody right now saying did, Robin, are you judging me? No, I'm not judging you, sis. I'm not. Or when you right now are single, I want you to consider how important it is for the people in your life to give you their feedback. Now, when I say this is probably one of the out of the 14 questions. There's several, but this is one of them that I get a lot of pushback from or on, and I get it because people say, Robin, I'm grown. I'm a very grown woman. I want to read to you a snippet though to answer that, because I am my independence and my autonomy means so much to me. When I start to feel like my space is being violated or my choice is being taken away from me, I respond very tensely. And so I get that. I understand that. But remember, let's keep repeating what the Bible says, Proverbs 24. In a multitude of counsel, there is safety. So this is the snippet that I wrote. I said, my husband always says that love can make even the smartest of us do things that aren't so smart. He says it in a more colorful way, of course, but I don't want anybody coming for my man. So in other words, love or infatuation can challenge your perception, which is why input from those you trust can be invaluable. And so that's just the heartbeat. Of course you are an adult. Of course you don't have to ask anybody else their opinion. But input from those you trust is invaluable, because when you start feeling somebody, come on, sis. Come on. When you start feeling somebody, your perception and your ability to judge clearly, to truly consider all the things, makes it very, very difficult. And so I remember many years ago, because again, I've been married 23 years, but back in the day at the church my husband and I attended when we were dating, the church had a rule for premarital. They would not want you to go through premarital if there's already been a proposal. If your husband has proposed, or your fiance, your boyfriend, if your boyfriend has proposed, they don't want you to go through premarital then. They want you to go through premarital before a proposal even occurs. And their reasoning, which makes sense, is that once the ring has been given, once everybody knows about it, it's hard to pull back. And they really wanted premarital to be an opportunity to really ask the tough questions. And that made a lot of sense to me. And so we want to talk about how important it is to get that input. So I know that you're grown, but many times you're brushing off real concerns and not optionally or potentially hearing God's voice through the people he has brought into your life. And so when you are asking people for their input, and I'm going to tell you the types of people we're going to be asking. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. This is not about you being weak. This is just about you increasing your discernment. And so there are many reasons we sometimes resist wise counsel, or we resist getting counsel, is because number one, we're grown. I shouldn't have to ask anybody. This is my decision. Tell me if you've ever said, this is my decision. Nobody else has to be married to him. Nobody else has to do life with him. So this is just on me. And that's true. That's true. But God never created you for isolation island. He created us for community. And so while you're the only one who will have to be married to him, I want you to think about this. When you get married, you're inviting that person into the family. So it's not just on you. This is a family relationship now, not a relationship, because that's not what it is. But that person does have an impact on the family dynamic. And baby, if you have children, my goodness, we know that that's an impact. And so yes, you're the only person who has to live with them, or maybe, but it does impact everybody else. So we don't ask because I'm grown. We don't ask because we think somebody is jealous. They're just jealous of me, and that's problematic. Those are not the people we would ask anyway. They don't know him like I do. Isn't that a song? They don't know. Oh, what's that song? They don't love you like I love you. Yeah, anyway. Y'all know random songs come to my head. You might say they don't know him like I do. And fair. There might be some aspects of his personality, the way he shows up, that they don't know. So we're not talking about them marrying him, sis. They don't have to like his personality, but they can pay attention to his mannerisms and how he treats you. Don't tell my daughter I told you this. Don't tell my daughter. I have 3 daughters, and one of them is 18, and she has a boyfriend, and this is probably her second boyfriend. And when I tell you, I love when he comes over. This boyfriend and her previous one, I loved when they come over, because I get to observe. I get to pay attention. I get to listen to how he's talking to her. I get to listen to if they're having a little spat, how they respond to one another, because I can see things she cannot see. So yeah, she knows him much better than I do. She better not know him, but she knows him better than I do. But I can see some things she may not be able to see. Or another reason, it may be the reason why I keep telling you all, listen, I'm not trying to be your dating coach. I know I ain't never really even been in the game. Forget about being out the game. I ain't never really been in the game. The last time I dated, I was in my 20s, and I am 50. And so I understand that makes you feel like, Robin, you don't understand. And so sometimes you don't want to get feedback from people because they don't understand how hard it is to date now. And I want to be fair. If people present with arrogance, or they present presumptuously or they present without considering the real realities, I can understand why that would be frustrating. Maybe those are not the people you talk to, but you do want to invite wise counsel into your life. So who counts? Who are the people that you want to talk to, baby? It is not everybody. Let's get off of dating just for a moment. I believe that this principle, inviting wise counsel into your life, is a principle, period. Can I tell you the truth? It is very rare, very, very rare that I make any life decisions, any major life decisions, without running it by somebody I trust. Because there have been too many times where I have made a decision that was based on my limited understanding and my limited perception. So many times that now I am not willing to do that. I don't have to ask anybody to do anything. Y'all, I work for myself. I am a real grown woman. I don't have to ask anybody for anything, but I choose to humble myself and invite wise counsel into my life. But baby, when I tell you it's not everybody, I have handpicked. The Bible says there's wisdom in wise counsel, baby. I have handpicked the wise counsel. And I encourage you to do that too. So who are the people that you want to invite? It's the people who love you enough to tell you the truth. Who are the people in your life who are willing to tell you the truth? Listen, I'm not talking about just their perspective now, because that's a little bit different. I'm saying who can point out the truth about what they are seeing. People who will tell you the truth, not just about your dating life, but period. People who walk with God, who have a relationship with God and have discernment, okay? Because you don't want somebody speaking into your life who ain't having nobody speaking to theirs. So you want somebody who is walking with the Lord, who has an intimate relationship with God. Because watch this. If you're talking to somebody who does not have an intimate relationship with God, their filter is just going to be different than your filter. And so you want to invite people who have the same filter as far as their values as you do. And then you want to invite people who know your pattern, who can say, now, sis, this feels familiar. Sis, we've been here before. One of the things I love about my long-term clients is just that. We have been doing this together for so long. I can say, this is what I call it. I'll say, you're doing the Robin, or I'll use their name. So the Robin, when I'm doing the Robin, I'm overcomplicating things. So whenever somebody hears me say I'm doing the Robin, I'm overcomplicating things because that's my pattern. Somebody else, let's say it's my sister. This wouldn't be her thing, but let's say it's my sister Kim. And I say, you're doing the Kim. That could mean she's overthinking things, right? So when you invite somebody who knows your pattern, they can say, sis, girl, we've been here before. You remember? And don't you know? They can remember and help you see the patterns. I want to read you another excerpt from the book because my girlfriend, when she was getting, now she's been married now. I've been married 23 years. I'm going to say they've been married 15, 18 years. But when she was dating her then boyfriend, she pulled 3 of her best friends aside and asked them to give her their feedback on the relationship. So I want to read that snippet to you. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see, I should have highlighted it. Let's see, hold on, I'm gonna find, okay, here we go. To make sure your circle feels comfortable keeping it real with you, you have to open that door respectfully. So again, people may not feel comfortable. You may have let people know subtly or directly that you're not open to feedback in your life, period, which is a problem. But it's problematic. If you're not open to feedback, it's problematic. But you want to give people permission to give you feedback. So you want to open that door respectfully. Let me give you an example. One of my besties had been with her man for years when she called me up. She straight up asked me honestly to share any concerns I had about them or about him and what I saw in the relationship that she didn't see. She did this with me and 2 of her other best friends. But watch this. She handled each response with care. If she agreed with a concern, she'd say, yes, we got to resolve that before marriage. If she didn't see that one as an issue or as a big deal, she would kindly say that. And she would say, you know what, that matters to you. That doesn't necessarily matter to me. And this allowed me to voice my thoughts as her accountability sister while she maintained her boundaries. And y'all, they are still going strong. And so I can distinctly remember one of the, and y'all, my memory isn't the best, but I can distinctly remember one of the things I was concerned about. And she clearly said, Yeah, Robin, that's your thing, baby. That is not my thing. But it allowed me to share my thoughts, and she handled my perspective, but also set her boundaries. That was a beautiful way of inviting people into the experience with you. So I told you who are the type of people that you want to invite. People who love you enough to tell you the truth, people who are walking with God and have discernment, people who know your patterns and can tell you this looks familiar, but what about this? These are the people you're not talking to. People who have deep bitterness and project their pain onto others. That's not who you run into. Who can I run to? I cannot help it. Okay. Then you don't want to talk to people who are just being nosy. This is not inviting nosy people into your life. You want to protect your relationship. If you're in a relationship, you want to protect it. If you're casually dating and you're trying to decide, you want to protect your heart. If you are considering one day down the line, I just want you to remember this. You're not inviting people just into your life to be nosy. This is not a come one, come all. Everybody gets to have their perspective. Absolutely not. You're not asking everybody. And then you are not asking people who want to enable you because they don't want to lose access to you. You know, those are the people who are not going to tell you the truth. So they're going to enable you, and they're going to go along with the delulu. You know, we can all be delulu. And these are the people who are going to be like, yeah, girl, I know. He has not answered your call in 3 days after y'all had that argument. But that's just because, girl, he's trying to get himself. No, baby. You don't want somebody who is going to enable you because they don't want to lose access to you. You want the people who are going to tell you the truth, okay? So as we wrap up this part of our conversation, I want to talk about a few more things. One, what does feedback sound like? Now, this is... I want to be careful with this because this is really based on your relationship with the person, but sometimes it might just be a quiet concern. You know what? I'm a little bit concerned about that. Sometimes it might be them pointing out a pattern for you. Sometimes it might be just probing, asking more questions so that you can hear and consider some things you might not have considered. It could be them just pointing out a character flaw that they see and asking you your thoughts about it. So it doesn't have to be somebody telling you the Lord said. No, not necessarily. It's really just a conversation and dialogue. Okay. But what do you do if you get mixed opinions? This is something women often say to me. Well, Robin, my best friend loves him, but my sister can't stand him. What do I do? What should you do when you're getting mixed opinions? I would say, number one, you want to really try to sort through the opinions to get to the heart of the matter. If you say, my best friend loves him, how much time has your best friend spent with him? My sister can't stand him. What have you told your sister that you haven't told your best friend? Those are the things you want to consider. Look at all the pieces of the puzzle. And then just remember question 2, pray and ask the Lord for confirmation. God, I want to hear you above all else. I've gotten opinions from others. I've asked for wise counsel, but God, ultimately I want to hear from you. Will you confirm to me what it is that I need to be doing? So your takeaway from this is I want you to identify who is your wise counsel. Go back and listen to the type of people we want to be listening to. And then I want you to tell me, who is your wise counsel? Who is it that you can trust to give you real feedback that you are willing to listen to? All right. So have you grabbed your copy of Before You Take His Name? Before You Take His Name is a Christian perspective to saying I do. And we're just fleshing out what's already in this book. So go to robinmeonline.com/books. And I want to hear from you. Will you comment below? Tell me what your thoughts are about question number 3. Do you have any pushback? Is there anything you would say, Robin? I don't know about that. That's okay. I want us to have a respectful dialogue. Invite some people to come along the journey. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll be right back here continuing in this series. Now remember, there's so many other conversations happening right here on my channel, so make sure you check out the full channel so that we can continue to elevate not just what we do, but who we are. I'll see you soon.